In the wake of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's resignation, there has been much speculation about what the next steps are for Canada's government. Parliament has been prorogued until the end of March, but a campaigning period for Liberal candidates seeking Trudeau's vacant role is heating up. Tessa Bennett has that story for us tonight. Tessa, do we know who is planning to run?
Manisa, a confirmed list of candidates seeking to step in as the Liberal Party's next leader is still taking shape, but a few key contenders addressed the media in Ottawa this morning.
At a time when we really need to be dealing with some of these external and international threats to Canada, American threats towards Canada, we really need these cabinet ministers to be working for Canada, not necessarily working against each other.
A queue of Liberals throwing their hat in the ring to take the country's top job is forming following Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's resignation announcement. In Ottawa on Wednesday morning, some began to make public pitches suggesting they should succeed Trudeau. Former Liberal MP Adam Vaughan says this campaigning period will be different than how they normally look, with new guidelines being put in place to facilitate a quicker turnaround.
All of these rules and regulations, which normally get sorted out over a lengthy period of time, now have to be compressed into a few days, and after that into a few weeks. And so it's going to be very interesting to see who thinks they can win a race and how they're going to win that race based on how the rules get rewritten to accommodate the new timelines.
Frank Baylis, a one-term Liberal MP, confirmed he plans to run for the leadership position, with Labour Minister Stephen McKinnon also expressing his intention to campaign.
I'm considering running and considering putting my name forward and evaluating what kind of support that may exist for my candidacy.
On the contrary, Minister of Finance and Intergovernmental Affairs Dominic LeBlanc confirmed he would not be going after the position, instead saying the incoming U.S. administration highlights the importance of his role in Canada's government.
The most important thing I should do over the next few months is my job as Minister of Finance and Intergovernmental Affairs.
Leading the list of contenders speculated to be running is former Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, whose resignation just weeks ago sent shockwaves through Parliament.
Potential candidates are reaching out to caucus members. Caucus members have control over the riding associations to a significant extent. And so to deliver those votes, you need sort of the person who's leading the process in local ridings right across the country. So there's been a lot of calls back and forth within caucus, and caucus is starting to line up behind some of those names. Chrystia Freeland in particular, since she left cabinet, has had nothing but telephone calls with caucus.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Melanie Joly is being discussed. She's accompanied Trudeau on several crucial ventures, including a trip last month down south to meet with members of President-elect Donald Trump's team. When asked if she was considering running, however, her response was unclear.
Of course, I've met with my team many times, my core team, and I've been reflecting.
Mark Carney, former central banker, is also being talked about as a top contender to take over the role. And a supposed underdog with eyes on Ottawa is the former Premier of British Columbia, Christy Clark.
I think it's going to be Freeland and Carney battling it out, but I'm watching for Christy Clark to come up that middle. And I think it's going to be an interesting race by the time we get to the end.
As for what will be top of mind for candidates as the new campaigning period is ushered in for the Liberals, both Vaughan and public affairs expert Will Stewart say there's a clear threat.
If Trump isn't the major issue, he should be.
For the next prime minister and the prime minister after that, we'll have two prime ministers probably before Canada Day at this point. The number one issue simply has to be dealing with Trump and getting our hands around how we're going to deal with this individual as president.
Before we learn exactly who intends to run, the National Party Board needs to put together a leadership vote committee to organize the rules for the upcoming race.